time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe. I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to talk about today. I have a few things in mind. I'm sure a few of you are curious as to how I'm going to respond to the poor play from my beloved Los Angeles Rams. I will get to that, of course, as I will often be talking football here on this podcast, but a few other random things I'm going to get to today as well. It's Friday morning here for me. It's been a nice week. I actually had the week off of FedEx. I get 2 vacation weeks per year, as I'm sure most people with normal jobs, know about and relate to. This is all new to me, though, as someone who didn't have that regular, steady adult job, I guess. I've been adulting now for a couple of years, at least in some circles anyway. I used to just live my life through, where's the next game to officiate? Where's the next, game or sporting event to go work at, and put off the whole regular job for a while. And I told you guys a few weeks ago that I really do enjoy the work I'm doing at FedEx and looking forward to doing even more there. So, but I get to do this podcast. I get to vent. I've been having a good time on my Charge to Keep podcast, dedicated to Rio Hondo Prep football. For those of you that are listening to that and this, you guys are, very dedicated individuals, and I appreciate that because you probably get tired of hearing me ramble away about things. And I can promise you, when I am done with the Charge to Keep podcast, whenever the football season ends, probably after all the holidays and Christmas, and we get into the new year in January, that's probably when I will occasionally have a guest on here on the Get Home Safe podcast, just to mix it up. But I do like coming on here once a week. I think that suits me best after doing it multiple days for so many years. Just once a week, getting on here and talking everything that has built up from the week for me. So anyway, I had a great little vacation, little getaway up to Central California over the weekend. Left Saturday night, got home Wednesday night. And it was nice, man. It's nice to get away. I was still in the state of California, unfortunately, but California does have some nice parts to it. That's for sure. Stayed up in Templeton, enjoyed the amenities of the Paso Robles, we'll say, and ended up having dinner in Solvang on the way back home. And it was just a nice time to get away. And anytime you have a vacation, you recharge the batteries, right? Maybe overindulge a little bit, of course, but you're just looking for that. I don't know. You almost immediately start planning your next vacation, and it's like, all right, immediate work for the next one. Much like a team that is successful, you can't just sit around and celebrate forever, right? You got to go back to work, literally, after a vacation. But you're also planning and hoping and striving for that next vacation. Similar to sports teams, you win a championship, all is good, but the world keeps spinning, and it's time to get back to business and work hard to save up for the next vacation, for that next championship. And unfortunately for my Los Angeles Rams, they've hit what would you call it, Super Bowl hangover, whatever you want to call it. Personally, I don't believe in hangovers. You show up to work regardless of how you're feeling. You know what I mean? You can't be someone that lets excuses dictate your performance, dictate your life. I will say the Rams are very banged up. It's not an excuse. It isn't. Everyone's hurt in the NFL, right? But they got like 6 different offensive lines. And it's really interesting in football. You praise the offensive line, you give them all this credit and things, right? Just kind of half-heartedly. But when you got a bad O-line, oh man, does it show? Oh, it shows. And then it's like, this line's terrible, right? And it's true. But there's been other things with the Rams. The tackling has been horrendous. The offense just can't seem to have any other answer besides Cooper Kupp. So my general thought with my Rams is, first of all, I watched bad Rams football my entire life. So I this isn't like, oh my goodness, I hope Matt's okay. It is funny though. Your team wins the Super Bowl 8 months ago, and you're miserable. That's just it's the beauty, the horror of fandom. It's never enough. You celebrate it briefly and you move on. So I'm still happy. My team won the Super Bowl finally in Los Angeles. That was cool. But you got to move on. And what I do want to say to a few of the haters out there, especially one in particular, who wants to say the Rams Super Bowl, it was a fluke, it was fake, it was rigged. That's my favorite. It's rigged. They wanted them to win. It was a conspiracy. If you knew that information, if you're so sure of that, why didn't you go place a bet? What, are you stupid? If you know something, have you seen Back to the Future? When you know the results of something, get the sports almanac. Go make some money. You can all use a little extra dough here. And maybe, maybe you won't get taxed on it. Or you probably will here in the Biden economy. Tax everything. Tax it all. Tax it all. Inflation will go away if we just print more money. But place a bet and make some money. Mr. I know everything. Mr. Smart Guy. Mr. Smart people that want to say, oh, that didn't happen. The Rams Super Bowl didn't happen. No, it did happen. And it was in the past. And I know a recent Super Bowl is hard for a lot of you fan bases to comprehend. I told you, I don't want to live in the past. The Rams won the Super. I don't want to be that guy. But it is rather hilarious to me that everyone's just like, especially the teams that, oh my goodness, they live in the past so much. They want to acknowledge Super Bowls from 25 years ago, but not one that happened less than a year ago. That is hilarious. That means you have a problem, not me. I'm willing to accept and move on and hope for the next one. But if you know something, if you knew, I knew the Rams, they were going to give the Super Bowl to the Rams. Well, then go place a bet and make some money. Tough guy. Go ahead. You didn't do it because you don't truly believe it. Much like politicians who are like, we need the mask. They save our lives. And then they don't do it. They don't believe what they say. Neither do you. There's such a difference in running our mouth on social media and real life. Now, most of the people who I know, they would do it, whether it's social media or in person. So I respect that. But there are people that hide behind their keyboard. And maybe I hide behind my microphone, my podcast. Here I am for the world to see. Maybe that's why so many people have some vested interest in my Rams being so bad. And part of having a podcast, part of stepping off the ledge, being brave and showing courage, as everyone will say nowadays, is you got to eat your words sometimes. And after week 1, I started saying the Cowboys were irrelevant. Now they're now 4-1. 4-1, 5-1, 4-1. Cooper Rush has been great. I talked about teams. It must suck to be someone who's just not relevant. And hey, now I'm there. Now I'm there with my team. I will say if the Rams lose the Carolina Panthers this week, who are on their third string quarterback, who have just fired their coach, who are awful, then I think we're going to have an official Rams funeral. But if they get get into the bye week, they'll be 3-3. They're playing the Niners again right after the bye week. So they'll be 3-4. But it'll thankfully the Niners stuff will be behind them and they can move on. But the Rams have a very difficult schedule ahead of them. And this is not to I should stop with the Rams thing here in a minute. But people, I am a man of the people. The people want to see me vent and be mad and all that. So I'm giving it to them. And as for you conspiracy who are like that's rigged. Oh, they want Brady to win. They want this. Put your money where your mouth is, and let's go make some money. Let's play some bets. I think even Carey League people, you put aside the whole lie, steal, cheat, or gamble thing for this very moment. It's not gambling. It's guaranteed money, apparently. Oh, I knew it the whole time. Oh, really? Put your money where your mouth is. Let's go. Put up or shut up. Put the money on the table. Make a lot of money. Man, I tell you how tough things are. Why would you not place a bet? Since you know all the conspiracy theories out there. Oh, it was not a real Rams Super Bowl. It wasn't real. What we saw, it was all fake. It was like the moon landing. Get out of here. You lose credibility when you talk that way. And it's the same type of people when you ask them, hey, to dispute something with a fact, they just name call you or just say random narrative. It's like you're proving my point. You didn't say anything. Facts over feelings. I thought that was still kind of the motto here, right? For me, I try to use facts and feel like I feel bad the Rams are not playing well. I try to say facts. Hey, this is why they're playing bad. This is why they're, could they not make the playoffs? At this point, they don't look to be like a playoff team. That's a fact. You have to accept. Do you want them to make the playoffs? Yeah, that's a feeling. So if you're going to come at me with your super knowledgeable conspiracy theories, I don't believe you because you didn't go place a bet on it. If you know something's going to happen, go place a bet, make some money. Prove us all wrong. Show me something. Don't just name call and, give a headline type things. Go into details. Explain. Make some money. That's all I'm saying. Conspiracy guy. Look, I know the whole Tim Donaghy thing threw us all off in the NBA. That was, a real story that unfortunately happened. But man alive. And this is my other thing is responding to criticism. This could be in anything, your relationship, your team fandom, your friends. How often do we just say, yeah, you're right? Or do we combat it? When people are making fun of me, right? Like, oh, the Rams, like, yeah, they're bad. What do you want me to do? You want me to say, oh, yeah, well, no, there's nothing to defend. But I think so many times, especially in relationships and not just with significant others, but friend, like in any argument, could be your boss. Some people just do not handle criticism well. I'm somebody that grew up on it. As far as officiating, a lot of the criticism he just brushed off, water off a duck's back. Is that the phrase? You try to have thick skin, but then there's other times where you just, you know what? Yeah, you're right. And then if someone continues on, spouse or whatever, we say, wait, I just told you you're right. Don't hammer me now. Like, I don't keep this going. I said I was wrong. Now let's try to improve upon it. Don't keep knocking me down, trying to convince me that I'm wrong. I just told you I was wrong. So it's just an observation. I see we live in this world, this life of like, you can't receive criticism. Oh my goodness. It's ridiculous. There's so much wrong in the country right now. Yet a lot of people think, oh, it's just great. They don't look at the facts of the gas prices, of how much it costs. The Inflation Reduction Act. How's that going? That was signed, right? Or to just take more time? We need more. I thought that was supposed to reduce inflation. It's going to make things even worse. As far as gas prices go, you know what? I'm on board. Let's get the high score, California. I want $10 by Christmas. I know we can do it. I want 10. Let's go. Why stop there? Let's go even higher. Why are these gas prices so high? Well, the policies. Oh no, that's a false narrative. Oh, really? So the pipeline they cut, that doesn't matter. Well, that didn't even produce that much. Okay, then why'd you cut it? You see how we go here? You gotta stick with me now. You can't just shut down by saying, oh, that didn't matter. That didn't happen. There's people that just dwell on certain. I need to take a breath. Something else that annoys me, that this is something simple. Some of the best people I know do this. This is another pandemic. This is a pandemic of the what is it? The non-punctual. A pandemic of the non-punctual. Time exists for a reason. Okay. A clock is just a device, but it symbolizes the time of day. Okay. People that set the clock forward 5 or 10 minutes because it thinks that will help their punctuality. That's part of the problem. That's like a fake vaccine that doesn't work. It doesn't help. You thinking, well, I'll just put time forward. Oh, okay, Marty McFly. It's a second Back to the Future reference already in this podcast. Time exists for now. Twice a year, we set our clocks back, we set our clocks forward. Okay. But the time in my car is just 10 minutes early. Why? So I'm not late. That doesn't change. Then you go about your life knowing, oh, the clock 10 minutes early. I got time. Why not just have the clock on regular time, real time? Or just, you can't even call it real time. Just time. There's no. It's like when people say social justice. Well, don't you just mean justice? Why you got to have an adjective before it? How about real, just time? Stop setting clocks early. I do not like this. I talked about things, popular things I don't like. I don't know if it's a popular thing or not, but we all have the real time on our phones, on our computers. Things update automatically. It drives me crazy. I walk into a kitchen, not mine. Mine's always perfect. And you see a microwave, usually in a hotel or some, lobby or something, and the time is not correct on it, or it's flashing, or it's, oh, this one drives me nuts, or it still has like 4 seconds on the timer left. What are we doing, people? Open the microwave, pull your stuff out, and reset. Just hit stop, clear your timer. Now I have to walk up and see 4 seconds left on the clock. What are we drawing up a play for the last second shot? What are we doing? We're erasing facts and like real. I'm not saying we're tearing down statues. You tear down Big Ben. It has a clock on it. It has a real time on it. And at one time, at 1:30 in our history, there was a tragedy that occurred. So we can never have 1:30 on a clock again. We can't have that. This is the logic of some people. And unfortunately, it's a lot of our leaders. Well, that's logical. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. Please reset your clocks. I'm even to the point, I don't like when my clocks around the house are 1 minute off. I don't even like that. I'll even stand there when I change the clocks twice a year and be like, synchronize. But I'm a lunatic. I know. I have no life. I talk into a microphone with no audience, and I have no idea who's listening. What do you think, guys? Am I nuts? Am I a lunatic? Have you turned me off yet? I got to get more chaotic here just to kind of keep an audience, get people. End bad things. I even wore my end bad things shirt that John Lee got me. If you believe it, it'll happen. End all bad things. Where was I? Clocks. Whoa. Some ghost over there just heard me yelling and knocked something over in the dishes. Woo-wee! Someone's listening. Someone's watching. That's scary. People, for the love of God, have your clocks be accurate. If they're off a minute or two, fine. But don't set your clocks forward 10, 15 minutes because you think that's going to help you be on time better. You know what will help you be on time is knowing the actual time and following through. It's like if you had a football game and there was 5 minutes left in the game and you're like, well, actually, we're going to put the clock to 2 minutes left in the game. Let that run off the scoreboard just so you guys like hurry and have a bigger sense of urgency. That's like the logic of it. Like time is time. Time is real. Time is something that also you don't get back. We can record things. We can have podcasts. We can have pictures and memories. That is how we keep time. We go back in time a little bit, but it's a brief moment. It's not something that you can replay altogether. There's so many things I wish I could do again. There's so many things I wish I could go back and not do again. Improve to not experience, right? But early clocks, what are we doing? Stop it. Stop it, people. And for you fortune tellers who are able to tell the future and know which team's going to win and why, go play some bets. And I'll give you a few dollars. I'm not a big, I don't gamble. I don't gamble here, but I do think if you're a so-called expert, prove it. Don't you want to prove it? Don't you want to be, man, show us your magic. Show it to me. Make me a believer. Point is, you don't really believe it, or you would benefit from it. So anyone can beat anybody in the NFL. Mass injuries are a massive blow to any team. It shows you how great the league is when even a couple injuries take an elite team and make them irrelevant and mediocre at best. In the NFL, I want to talk about a couple of things here. Look at this whole roughing the passer thing. I talked last week about Tua being the first quarterback ever to be injured on a field. Whether or not he had a concussion before, and then he's out there. He was slammed down, no flag on the play, taken off on a stretcher. Okay, violence occurs. Guess what? There's going to be a car crash today somewhere. Am I driving? I'm not driving anywhere today, I don't think. No, okay. There's going to be a car crash somewhere. Ooh. And I hope no one is injured. There's going to be bad things that happen. And bad things, right? I'm not to diminish anyone that is suffering through, you got to always say, I'm starting to, I don't know. I'm going to start getting rid of these warnings. But what happened was the overreaction to Tua, and then the NFL encouraged tells the referees, hey, you gotta cannot have that. We cannot have it. Quarterback's injured. Can't have it. Make sure there's a flag. So when Tom Brady is literally tackled, it's roughing the passer. When Derek Carr is landed on by, it's roughing the passer. First of all, at least at the high school when I was officiating, it was never roughing the passer if he was never a passer. He was attempting to throw, but he didn't throw. But they changed that rule to protect quarterbacks and this and that. I always have said, you know what? I don't want to see anybody hurt. I'm starting to change my tune now with the way football is. And maybe this is rather controversial. But I'm not going to go as far to say it. I'll kind of say it. Maybe we're too caught up in this. I don't ever want to see anybody hurt. Remember when your mom or your dad wanted you to go out and play, and hey, if you got into, the Sandlot quote, go out, get dirty, scrape your knees, get into trouble just a little. I want you to be a kid. Maybe we've gone so far from that now to don't get hurt, an abundance of caution, wear a mask, don't leave your house. You fell down and hurt yourself. Oh, let me call in a medevac. Let me call in a chopper. Hey, could you imagine? My parents are great. Hurt yourself. I was like, what are you crying about? Get up. Get up. And I'm not saying I want to see quarterbacks injured. All right. But back when, this is a violent sport. Someone gets hurt. All right. You should have blocked better. But now it's like, no, how could they, we have to create a law so that no one ever gets hurt. There's still laws for texting and, people still get hurt all the time. And why is there no outrage? Help me out here. Why is there no outrage in other sports of physicality that there is in football? Is there any roughing the NASCAR driver? Someone sideswipes someone and they flip the cards. Is there any? We literally cheer. We stand up and shout and react at big boxing knockouts or UFC kicks to the head that drop guys go unconscious literally in the ring or octagon. We cheer for this stuff and we wish everyone a safe recovery. But in other sports, hey man, that's just how the game's played. That's why we love this stuff. We love seeing the violence of it all. And yeah, there are some long-term effects, but that's why these people are compensated how they are. You think coal miners are compensated, anywhere near what football players are? Well, Matt, you're just treating them. I'm treating them like athletes that I want to watch on TV and knock each other around. That's what I'm treating them like. More than an athlete. Yeah, I know. You tell me all the time. Why am I the extremist here? Why are we trying? And it's the ESPN anchors are the worst. I don't watch it. I just see clips from social media and stuff, but they go from one day, how could the Dolphins have him on the field? This quarterback, how can he be injured? To then and then the NFL goes, okay, watch this. And the referees call as instructed. Hey, we really got to amp up the roughing the passer. We can't have guys hurt. Then guys get slung to the ground, tackled, whatever. And it's a penalty. And these same anchors who called for the safety. We need to make this game safer. We cannot have injuries. Then they start. Which one is it? That's all I'm saying. I'm consistent in this area. I want more violence. This is why I watch football. Matt, how could you say that? I could say it very easily. Most of us started watching football for the violent aspect of it, not for some cool one-handed catch, not for some, wow, look at that scramble. It was for the big hits and plays on the goal line, runners going over the top, linebackers meeting them, big blindside blocks. That's why most of us started watching football. And that's why I get so worked up over fantasy sports and, oh, the game has changed. It's never been safer. Maybe I don't want it to be safer. Now, what about the people in, CTE? What about the concussions? What about the paralysis? Well, there's quite a bit of people that have played the game, and those injuries are few and far between. I'm not trying to be, no, I gotta stop saying, I'm not trying to be heartless. I gotta start giving this like a prefix to what I'm saying. Preface, what's in the books? I haven't read a book in a while. What's the prologue, epilogue, prologue? I lose track. Those are big words. You have to like, to give certain opinions these days, you have to like preface it with, well, I what am I trying to say? You just have to like justify having an opinion and like okaying that you have a certain opinion. I don't want to see anybody hurt, but as a general example. Well, now I'm kind of like, injuries are part of the game. I don't cheer for injuries. I don't, when a dude gets smoked in the UFC and he's laying there unconscious, I'm like, I'm worried about him a little. I don't know the guy. So yeah. What if that was your son? What if that was your child, your nephew? I'd probably be concerned. But I also know that there was an inherent risk of that. I worry about my firefighter friends. I worry about my police officer friends, my friends who have gone overseas to fight in the military. I worry about those guys. I watch war movies and movies about cops and firefighters, and I know that's not real life, but I watch those things. If there's a cool explosive scene or something, I'm like, oh wow. But I know that in real life, there's people who go through those things. I mean, ask yourself, why is this being done? Why are they trying to make football softer? I think football is one of the last like true American, it's a man's game. Oh my, how could you say that? Well, it's mostly played by men. There are some women who play it, and a lot of women like watching it, but I've heard women say, yeah, it's a man's game. That's why I like it. That's controversial. I'm not saying women have no place in football or sports, but my goodness, like what was it? Oh my goodness, Troy Aikman, and he walked back the statement, but there was a penalty in the game Monday night, the Derek Carr roughing the passer, illegal tackling. And he said something about we need to take the dresses off of these guys or something like that. And oh my goodness, the blue check mark brigade was out in full force. How could he say that? Misogynistic, phobic, something or other, phobic. Really? Of all the problems in the world, in our country specifically, you're offended and devastated by Troy Aikman saying, take the dresses off of these guys. Oh, we talked about this last week. All you have to do, if you're really offended by something, is just state the year, just randomly. It's 2022, guys. And in a couple months, it's 2023, guys. You just keep saying that, and it's like you have carte blanche to be offended by anything. Who makes these rules, by the way? Who makes the rules on the language, the words we're not allowed to say? Who does all this? I know the FCC has certain words you can't say online or whatever, or on the airwaves. But like there's certain words or phrases we said, and like, now, oh, they're problematic. How can you say that? Who sits? What committee is this that sits around and says, you can't say that word, that offends these people. You can't say that phrase, that offends these people. Who is it? Who's making these rules up? I want to know. There's a rules committee in life for offending terms. And again, It never changes. Let's say you erase a word or a phrase, take the dress off those guys. You take that out of our vocabulary. Do you think these people just stop? No, they're on to the next word, the next phrase, because it gives certain people purpose, I guess. Rather than go live your life to the best of your ability and create your own memories and moments and funny times and great times. No, you have to go around thinking the world owes you something, and you have to be offended by a phrase or statement. I hope to God people listening to my show, if you offend, you don't like something I say, fine. I hope you're not like, what an awful person he is. I love listening to shows I disagree with, people I disagree with. I'm not like, I mean, part of America is that you have a freedom of speech. You're allowed to say what you believe. Well, yeah, but Matt, what if what people believe is hateful and horrible? Oh, there's a lot of that going on. You can't fix everything. I wish we fixed the real issues right now. My favorite one, the narrative right now, and again, partisan whatever. I'm you guys know I'm a Republican, very conservative guy, and it's hilarious right now with the midterms less than a month away. Everyone's like, don't let the Republicans win. They're going to ruin the country. What? Excuse me? What's been going on in the past 2 years? So if the Republicans win the House, the Congress, they're what are they going to make gas prices worse? They're going to make crime worse. They're going to, we've seen this team play the past 2 years, excuse me, with the whole Senate and the House of Representatives in Democrat control. The country's been 100% controlled by the Democrats. And the three branches. Judicial is not a partisan branch, even though presidents nominate. Anyway, the policies have made things worse. I'm sorry. The crime, the homelessness, the cost of living, gas prices. No one wants to like. It's like watching a game when your team is down 40-0 and you're like, they're still in this. They got them right where they want them. This isn't their fault they gave up 40 points. No. That was the last game. Like, we have to embrace facts. Why are facts so... Well, what about January 6th? We're still on this thing. Yes, horrible day, awful. I denounce it. Everyone I know who I guess believes things I believe, everyone denounced it right away, immediately. Very bad. No one denounced the hundreds of riots and other that stuff was almost encouraged. You get out there and you protest. We're talking about one day, not even a full day, a couple hours. I have to publicly denounce January 6th. Yes, I'm publicly denouncing what happened again. Yet we're still doing this. And it's interesting that as inflation numbers come out, that's when the January 6th stuff always amps up. We're worried about the past. And sure, if we want to right some wrongs, I always think that's good. But there's people starving right now, man. Not me. I need to definitely fast a little bit here. I can afford to starve a little bit. That makes sense. Is that funny? It's one of my Hersimisms. If you don't improve gas prices, if you don't improve the cost of living, you do not care about poor people. And I'm not saying poor people demeaningly, because I'm one of them. You can't preach about how much you love poor people, and then not care about something as big as gas prices. Well, Matt, gas prices were going up before. Plus, I'm not even getting into it. And then Biden goes to Saudi Arabia and begs for oil. And I'm not some like moralist with like, well, the golfers in Saudi Arabia, like I don't get. It's so funny. It's so funny the standards people have that they'll look a blind eye one way regarding how could they make deals with Saudi Arabia? What? Really? They were going to go over there and beg for oil? You know what those people believe? What they do over there? How they treat select groups of people? Yeah, you want to. Anyway. We live in this backwards world, man. What else do I got today? Baseball playoffs in full swing. That is really cool. Those Dodgers, man, be careful. As I record this, game 3 tonight against the Padres. It's a 3-game series now with each team having won a game. If you don't think small things matter, just watch a baseball game. Big man, maybe when you're sitting around in November thinking about, oh man, how did we win 110 games and then couldn't win 3 in a 5-game series? Maybe you should have bunted. Maybe you should have done that. I don't know. I can't second guess these great professional athletes making millions of dollars. How could I do that? Anyway, enjoy the game tonight, everybody. One thing about the NFL schedule I wanted to educate everyone on is just for knowledge, I guess, is that when they talk about, it's a first place schedule, that's a last place schedule. So here's what you have. There's 8 4-team divisions, 2 conferences. I know that's like real. The people that don't know that, it like baffles me. But they know how many points Odell Beckham had on fantasy football on Sunday. Anyway, 4-team divisions. So you play everyone in your division twice. So there's 6 games. Then you play one NFC. So if you're in the NFC, for instance, then you play one other division in your conference. So if you're the NFC West, for like the Rams, they play the NFC West 6 games, right? Then you play one other division in your conference. Say this year it is the NFC South. So they're playing the Panthers, Saints, Bucks, and Falcons. And everyone in that division plays that division. So the Niners play all those teams. The Cardinals play all those teams, right? So 6 plus 4, that is 10 games. And they're playing the 17. You then also play one division from the other conference. This year, the Rams are playing, or the NFC West is playing the AFC West. So you only play 4, correct. It used to be this way. 4 AFC teams. And again, your division guys play the same teams. So 6 for your division, 4 against an NFC conference division, and then 4 against another division in the other conference, the AFC. So 6 plus 4 plus 4, that is 14. Then as far as the NFC goes, staying in that conference, there's 2 other NFC divisions, right? In this case, the NFC East and the NFC North. So whoever finished in the NFC West last year, in this case being the Rams, they will play the first place team from the other division for that one division game they're going to play. So the NFC East, which is why they played the Cowboys, who won the division. And then you'll play one team, the first place team of the NFC North, which is the Packers. So that's why they're playing the Packers. So and then it goes down the line. So the second place team in the NFC West plays the NFC team, second place team. So that's where the schedule comes out. And they talk about first place schedule, second place schedule. That's why it's hard for teams to repeat, because you're playing great teams, playoff teams from the previous year. And the thing they did with the added 17th game, you play one game against an AFC opponent from one of the other 2 divisions. And it's the same concept. You play the first place team if you finish first. You play the second place team if you finish second. So of your 3 random games, I'll say 2 in the NFC, 1 in the AFC, you're playing 3 first place opponents from the year last year. If you're last place, you're playing 3 last place teams from last year. So that is where sometimes you see, I mean, it helps, right? The parity of the league, where you have teams that were on bottom feeders last year, they're able to rise the ranks. And sometimes the script gets flipped, right? First place, worst to first. In this case, man, the Rams are looking first to worst. But anyway, that's just kind of education on the NFL schedule and why it is not going to get easier for my Rams. They got to play the Chiefs, the Packers, the what's another big one that I'm missing? The Chargers are going to be great. They got to play the Buccaneers. I mean, schedule's not favorable, so this thing could go south in a hurry. They got to get to 3-3 this week and get that bye, and then it's 11 straight for my Rams. Oh, it's gonna be tough sailing, and ride or die, man. Sometimes you gotta just laugh at your team, right? There's so many other things going around the country that all you can do is laugh sometimes. I really do mean that. And I chuckled a time or two, definitely. Let me see here. Popular things. Educate. I talked about conspiracy theories, responding criticism. Man, I pretty much hit all this already. Um, yeah, make tackling great again. I would really, really like that. I miss the violence of the sport. One other thing I wanted to share with you guys. This is something I may have mentioned before, but it's called Locked On Podcast, Locked On Podcast Network. Anywhere you listen to pods, I think even YouTube. But what's great about the Locked On Podcast is that it is your team every single day, and sometimes it can be your sport every single day. And by that, I'll give you some examples. So it's a 5 days a week podcast platform. And what's great about these is they're like 30 minutes long. And whether you're a Lakers fan, a Dodgers fan, a 49er fan, anything basically, even college teams, although they're not as prevalent. Say, for instance, Locked On Rams. It's a 30-minute podcast, Monday to Friday, every day, year round. So even in the off season, they're coming up with content to talk about your team every day, year round, weekends off, of course. So it's really cool it's a cool way to get quick hitter information about your team, quick news. There's Locked On MLB, which talks about the entire sports league, of course. Locked On NFL, Locked On LA Kings, Locked On. It's just a great way to stay updated on your favorite teams year round. Locked On USC football, I think, or maybe it's just Locked On USC. But check them out. Go with your favorite teams. And what's great about them is they're just quick. And sometimes in the off season, you come up with top 10 lists, or you got just random facts about your team, history and stuff. It's something I've really enjoyed, and it's helped me improve upon my knowledge of other sports. I'm still learning a lot about hockey and other boxing and things, although I'm not sure about. I'll have to check if they have a Locked On boxing, but check it out, the Locked On Podcast Network. I'm not getting anything from saying that. Just wanted to share that with you guys. If you're looking for quick hitters, quick information, and you want to hear about your team year round, right? Without having to go to some network and listen. Okay, let me fast forward to the 20-minute mark when they finally start talking about the Clippers or whoever you root for. So the Locked On Podcast Network, I have a few, get the notifications, and you can even hear Chargers football in I don't know, the month of March, right? Whatever your team is, and it's every day, and you don't have to listen obviously to anything, but it's something I've really enjoyed because again, it's quick information, it's an easy listen. And for instance, the Rams Locked On podcast currently is Travis Rogers, who does the Rams pregame show, the halftime show, and the postgame show. So he does a little 30-minute podcast daily for the Rams stuff as well. So just an example of what one of the many things I like in podcasting. There's some other great ones too that I've really enjoyed. My podcast listening is pretty much all day. Whether I'm driving FedEx, whether I'm preparing stuff for myself, even watching games, I'll throw a podcast in my ear and watch a baseball game because I don't need to listen to broadcasters tell me, about game of baseball or other things. So that's just kind of how I operate. And what is on my library as an example? I've told you guys before, I'm a big Adam Carolla show fan. That's pretty. Jason Whitlock, I think, is the best podcast on out there, and it's on YouTube and things too. Team Never Quit, if you're looking for motivation, a couple of Navy SEAL guys there. Just all kinds of good stuff. But the Locked On podcast, really, really neat. This is how I got a lot of my ideas for the Real Hondo Prep Charge to Keep podcast. Is first last year I started experimenting, or a couple of years ago, with Get Home Safe, just interviewing people. Then it became a lot more of my opinions. I had my buddy Bill Barnes come on a lot, and then I was like, well, what if we had a coverage of Real Hondo football, much like the Locked On podcast or the USC, Reign of Troy podcast, YouTube show, the Longhorn Network. There's all these single team dedicated platforms. And that's what got me thinking about doing something for real football. And I wish I could do more for the other sports, and maybe I will occasionally, but it's funny, the evolution. I couldn't have Charge to Keep without Get Home Safe, right? And I'm still going to have Get Home Safe because it's the OG. It's what got me started with this thing, and I'm going to keep it going regardless of who's listening, just to get things off my chest. And sometimes I'm not as prepared as I would like to be. Sometimes I don't have the best content. I'm just going in circles with, I'm sure, a lot of you guys who are just like, oh, come on, Matt, get to a good point. But I thought I had some decent ones today. Yeah, we got to tear down all clocks that have a certain time on it, because at one time in history, there was a bad time of day when something awful happened. That's the logic we have going for. Like so many, It's a movement. It never stops. People who have no purpose in their life want to destroy life. They want to destroy it all, tear it down, restart, the great restart, right? Or is it reset? I don't even know. Look that up. That stuff's crazy. And again, a lot, well, Matt, you're QAnon. It's like, I don't have any idea what QAnon is. Some people have tried to explain it to me. I'm like, what is that? And of the hundreds of conservative people I know, I don't know one person that is, well, they do it in secret. Oh, really? This is back to my point. You ever heard of microaggressions, by the way? Well, that was a microaggression. Well, if you were really, really prejudiced, why would you do something like discreetly? If you really didn't like a group of people, why would you do it like in code? I don't like them, but I'm going to show them. I'm going to show them without showing them that I dislike their group. Microaggressions. Or, oh, he's part of some cult or whatever. But wouldn't, like, if you're part of some awful organization, like you're trying to change thing, wouldn't you be like outspoken about it? Why would you hide, like all this white supremacy talk? What? Oh, he's a closeted white supremacist. What? Huh? Microaggressions? Yeah. This is just the random things that come in my head. If you're a Rams fan, you're going to wear Rams shirts and you're going to cheer loudly. What am I secretly trying to infiltrate the 49ers? I doubt it. That's like an example of some of the. Well, he's a secret. He's a special forces racist. He's like, all this racism talk, man, drives me crazy. So many great people from all over in different walks of life. And I am so thrilled with the many different friends I have from all over. It's fun. You learn about yourself. You learn about different cultures. And you know what? It's fun to tease each other too. That's okay still. It's allowed. I love, a big part of jokes with friends is, getting after each other a little bit. And it's all in good fun, man. If there's no ill will, it's fun to tease each other, knock each other down a peg. At least that's how men operate. I don't think the ladies so much. They probably think we guys are nuts. But anyway, I've been all over the place today. I appreciate you listening to me. If you're still with me right now, hey, end bad things. If we just believe we can dream and tear everything down. And then what? Once we torn everything down, then what do? We start living in tents again and try to, I guess a lot of people do live in tents. Look around the streets. What's the plan after everything's torn down? We rebuild everything. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm all over the place. It's been a week of relaxing times, R&R, rest and relaxation. I was gonna get out and drive some Uber today, but you know what? I might just sit around and watch a few baseball games. Definitely watching some college football bright and early tomorrow morning because I don't get to do that very often. I have to go to work usually on Saturdays, so looking forward to the big noon kickoff, some good football games, and then of course Dodger baseball and playoff baseball in general. Big USC game this weekend. Cannot wait for that. All right, guys, I'm out of time, out of ideas, and it's time to get out of here. I don't know. Brutal, Matt. That was that was brutal. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I'll be back next week, probably at the regularly scheduled Thursday time. I told you when I have Friday Rio games that the podcast will be out on Thursdays. And if I have a Thursday night game, then I'll probably put it out on Fridays like you're hearing today. So let me know what you think. Send me your thoughts, questions, concerns, arguments. I don't care, whatever. I take criticism like a referee. I don't get too worked up. Although if you push me hard enough, then I might just flag you. I'll flag you, tee you up, or throw you out of the game. Boom! All right, guys. Have a great weekend. It's nice weather out there, a little overcast, a little chilly, loving it. Let's get some grilled cheese and tomato soup going, maybe some other amenities, if you know what I mean, and enjoy the ever fast approaching holiday season, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. I said it. Oh my goodness. How could you say the C word, Matt? How dare you? Anyway, guys, see you next week. Have a great weekend. And as always, guys, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.